Daniel sits in his car late at night, rain streaming down the windows. Daniel's life was unraveling. His business was gone, his family distant, and now his home was slipping through his fingers. God, he whispered into the silence, are you even there? If you are, why is my life falling apart? The next morning, Daniel walks into a crowded diner. He orders coffee and sits in the corner. He noticed a woman struggling to pay for her meal at the counter. For a fleeting moment, he felt the urge to help, but his wallet was as empty as his hope. He looked away, ashamed. The waitress, an older woman with kind eyes, places a full breakfast in front of him. It's on the house, she says, her smile warm. Why? Daniel asked, startled. She simply shrugged. You look like you need it. He felt a pang of gratitude, but his heart remained heavily ashamed. Walking out of the diner, Daniel sees an elderly man trying to push his stalled car. Despite his own problems, something compels him to help. Together, they manage to move the car. The man thanks him, pressing a weathered business card into Daniel's hand. If you ever need a job, call me, he said. That evening, Daniel stares at the card. It's for a small construction company. This isn't what I planned for my life, he mutters. But with nothing left to lose, he decides to call. The next morning, he shows up at the site. The work is grueling, but the team is welcoming, and for the first time in months, Daniel feels a spark of purpose. Weeks pass. One day, while working on a house, Daniel notices the owner, a single mother, watching them with her 2 children. The joy in their faces as they see their new home warms his heart. That night, he prays for the first time in years. God, are you behind this? Are you showing me something? One morning, Daniel finds an envelope on his workbench. Inside is a note from his boss, your dedication hasn't gone unnoticed. We're promoting you to foreman. Alongside it is a generous check. Tears well in his eyes. For the first time, he feels like his life has meaning again. Months later, Daniel drives past his old neighborhood. He sees a family moving into the house he lost. Instead of bitterness, he feels a strange peace. He realizes that losing his home led him to a path of humility, purpose, and unexpected blessings. At a church service, Daniel stands at the back, listening to the pastor speak about faith in the unseen. As the congregation prays, Daniel bows his head, whispering, "Thank you, God. I see you now, not in miracles, but in the quiet ways you never let me fall." The waitress, the elderly man, the job, all of it had been threads in a larger tapestry, guiding him when he couldn't see the way forward. Daniel, now smiling and at peace, stands at the same diner where his journey began. He sees a young man sitting alone, looking lost. Daniel pays for his meal and leaves without saying a word. As he steps outside, Daniel looks up at the sky and smiles. "I'll never see you with my eyes," he says, "but I'll always see you in what you do." Daniel's life wasn't restored the way he expected. Instead, God's presence shaped his heart, teaching him that even in silence, he is always working, weaving every moment into something beautiful.